What's happening, news nerds? Back for some more news, are we, you cheeky little devils? This week in news starts now. Is this classed as economy negative? According to the Greek City Times, a surprising incident occurred in the Drama to Thessaloniki route when a passenger was accidentally locked in the trunk of a KTEL bus due to the driver's oversight. Nikos Nikolaides spoke of his unusual seating arrangements during an interview with the Greek television network Mega. He said, "The bus departed from the intercity station in Drama. I thought I was the drama. I joined from my village and the bus was already loaded with luggage. The driver stopped at my village and I noticed there was a lot of baggage. I squeezed my guitar in as far as it would go and asked the driver to close the trunk. I then made my journey to Thessaloniki, but as Nikos attempted to retrieve his belongings from the luggage compartment, the driver, unaware of his actions, accidentally locked the trunk with Nikos inside. Nikos said, I stepped down and asked the driver to open it so I could get my things. Just as I reached for my guitar, the driver pressed the button and shut the door. I remained inside until we reached the terminal, which was thankfully just 2 stops away. But Nikos was cool as a cucumber and even recorded a video from inside the luggage compartment during his unusual experience. The president of the bus company KTEL stated on Mega's live news that he was informed of the incident 15 days later and has not initiated a disciplinary action since no report was filed by the passenger. But the driver has confirmed that it happened. Touch of water. I think this might be Nico's fault. If your clothing is so dark and bland you blend in with a load of luggage, maybe that's the wake-up call you need. Get some colour in your life, mate. Lime green, fuchsia, salmonella. It's 2024, baby. The 60s are coming back. This is plain silly. According to the Bible of Lad, aka Lad Bible, I'm so bourgeois, a woman in a sexual relationship with a plane for 9 years says she's finally broken up with it. God. Michelle Koch first met Schatz the plane, translated to darling in German, in May 2014 at Berlin's Tegel Airport. The 30-year-old woman was attracted to the Boeing 737-800's wings, winglets and engines. And even though there were some ups and downs, she carried out a long-distance relationship with it. Koch previously said her biggest dream was to be married and live with the plane, adding, I sleep with my darling every night, either with real components like the spoiler, flat track fairing and tank valve, or a 5'2" model. Intimacy is part of our relationship. However, after nearly a decade of their relationship, the German woman has confirmed to Bild that she and the plane are separated. Although it appears that they've stayed on good terms and that the breakup wasn't too messy. As she added, we're still friends. But in the past, she'd hoped for a wedding with Schatz, planning for an intimate ceremony and to spend the whole night with him. She said, I wouldn't want to put on a white dress, but dress really smartly with black trousers and a black blazer. I want to have someone to marry us and say, do you want to marry your 737-800? And I say yes, and we kiss, and then I'm immortalised with him, and we can be together forever. Maybe we do need a big flood. How can you ever think about being married to something that has the best part of 1,300 people a day inside of it? Not only is it not very private, but think of the hygiene. Last thing you want is the feeling of day-old seat crack crisps caressing your body just as you reach the vinegar strokes. Does anyone else smell plastic? According to The Independent, an Arizona man has finally discovered the source of decades of breathing difficulties. A piece of Lego lodged in his nose. Andy Norton, who goes by the name of Ben Havoc, said in an Instagram post earlier this month that he blew his nose and lo and behold, a Lego dot piece came out. Mr. Havoc, cool name, explained that when he was 6 years old, he put the Lego dot up his nose and said, the toy was too small for me to reach in my nose and grab it. So he had the brilliant idea of shoving a Lego man up his nose to collect it. At this point, he said, I've panicked loudly and my mum came in and in her panic, she's looking at my nose and seeing there's a Lego head stuck in my nostril. His mum pulled out the second toy with a tweezer, believing it to be the only piece. And for the last 26 years, Mr. Havoc said he's suffered from multiple breathing issues, including asthma, and has been recently diagnosed with obstructive sleep apnea. He said his doctor recommended that he blow his nose in the shower during the summer months in order to take advantage of the steam and humidity. And after following that advice for the past 6 months, one day he got a big surprise when a Lego piece fell out of his nose. He said, "I can breathe out of this side of my nose now, it's fantastic," and further said he plans to take it to show his doctor. Top tip then, if you too struggle with breathing from your nose, you may have lost something up there as well. Not me though, only thing I've ever lost up my nose was my grandfather's inheritance. It's what he would have wanted. According to CBS Austin, candles filled with urine spilled on a 9-year-old at an Indiana Dollar Tree. Adriana Shelton and her 9-year-old daughter Gray were at the Dollar Tree on South Bend Avenue shopping for a gift for Gray's teacher, when Gray reached for a candle on the shelf. Adriana said, "We're smelling candles," and she picked up a candle to smell and tilted it back, and literally liquid went down her. At first we were like, maybe it's just water, and as we were walking through the store, we get a foul smell and Gray goes, "Mom, my shirt really stinks." That smell was urine sitting in the candle on the store shelf. Appalled by the stain and smell on her daughter's shirt, Shelton went to the manager, where the store manager offered her a shirt as a replacement. Adriana said, "They've been telling me this has been happening for over a month, and they're not able to catch the person doing it, and there's no cameras down the aisle where he's doing it. So the store employees and manager has asked corporate to put in cameras in those areas, and corporate just doesn't want to pay for them." WSBT talked to the store manager, and the manager said that Dollar Tree has been in contact with police, and it is trying to find out who is urinating in the candles. And after the incident, Adriana did say that she took her daughter to urgent care, and fortunately, she'll be alright. Urgent care because she got a bit of wee on her? Get real. If being covered in urine was that serious, I'd need to go to A&E every time I took a shower. When I was 8, I was also good at GTA. According to ABC News, an 8-year-old girl took an SUV from her home in Ohio and drove for miles to a store where she was later found unharmed. The girl, whose name was not released, and the vehicle were reported missing at around 9 AM on Sunday, according to Bedford police. And family members said they'd last seen the girl at the residence about 2 hours earlier. But as police launched an investigation, they learned a small child had been spotted driving a vehicle on a nearby road. The vehicle was eventually found a short time later in the car park of a Target store in Bainbridge, which is nearly 13 miles from her home. Police soon found the child by herself in the shop. She told officers that she had struck a mailbox whilst driving, but nothing else. Authorities did not say why she had decided to travel to the store or provide further details about her trip. Why don't we know what music she was listening to? Police said the girl is too young to be charged criminally, winner, and so it wasn't clear on Monday if any charges would be filed in the matter. So, top tip then. If you're 8 and you want to go out for a drive in your parents' car, apparently the Ohio police won't put you in prison. And for those of you who have the mental age of an 8-year-old, you too could become the next president of the United States. Brooms for sweeping and shooing. According to Sky News, 2 squirrels who boarded a rush hour train to Gatwick forced operators to cancel the service. The squirrels jumped on the Great Western Railway's 8:45 AM train from Reading to Gatwick on Monday, forcing passengers to flee to other carriages. The passengers on the train alerted staff, who tried to lure the squirrels off the train at Red Hill with snacks, before trying to force them off with brooms. But none of it worked. GWR then subsequently called the entire journey off. A spokesperson for GWR said, "We can confirm that the 0854 Reading to Gatwick was terminated at Red Hill after a couple of squirrels boarded the train at Goms Hall without tickets, breaching railway bylaws, nice. We attempted to remove them at Red Hill, but one refused to leave and was returned to Reading to bring an end to this nutty tale." Why didn't they just bring them along? I'd have no issue knocking about a load of squirrels. It'd be like a woodland scene on the Class 165, only with roadmen and smack addicts. Does the carpet match the drapes? Burnt? According to The Independent, a passenger aboard an American Airlines flight is suing the carrier over claims her genitalia was badly burned when a scalding pot of coffee fell off a serving cart and onto her lap during turbulence. According to a lawsuit, Gina Mason was flying home from Baltimore to Detroit on February 11th, when the captain came over the PA system and asked everyone in the cabin to take their seats due to bumpy air up ahead. ahead. The lawsuit says that the flight attendants were in the middle of distributing beverages and snacks throughout the cabin when the turbulence began, and the complaint says during the turbulence the beverage cart was shaking, which resulted in the hot coffee pot that was left on top of the cart to fall off into Mason's lap, causing her to sustain severe first and second degree burns over her legs, thighs and genital area. Her lawsuit accuses American Airlines of not having used due care and caution in securing their beverage cart during flight, and says that the flight attendant was negligent in failing to remove or secure the hot coffee pot on the beverage cart during extreme turbulence, and negligently leaving the beverage cart parked directly next to a passenger seat during extreme turbulence. Gina Mason is asking for money damages for physical pain and suffering, physical disability, incapacity, denial of everyday social pleasures and enjoyments, diminished quality of life, scarring and disfigurement, mental anguish, emotional distress, fright and shock, and embarrassment and humiliation, along with reimbursement for legal fees and medical expenses. Turbulence is a fact of life for planes, but I can understand your flaps looking like a reject from KFC isn't what you want after a long flight. Certainly a passion killer if you fancy to do in the bogs. Jeffrey, is it raining blood? According to Sky News, the NHS is going to use drones to fly blood samples across London to avoid the traffic. Drone flights will mean that the samples can be transported in a fraction of the time it currently takes couriers via road. Guy's and St Thomas's NHS Foundation Trust has launched a pilot scheme that intends to drastically speed up the time taken to move blood from major hospitals in the capital to labs for analysis. Usually, moving samples between Guy's Hospital and the lab at St Thomas's Hospital takes more than half an hour on the road. However, the same journey can be done in less than 2 minutes by drone. There's also environmental benefits. The project will last 6 months and is expected to start this autumn. The move could also pave the way for other types of drone deliveries. Right, so this is perfectly acceptable. But when I suggested the NHS an idea for an organ railgun to shoot the organs into the recipient's chest cavities, they tell me to stop calling their office. Nepotism at its finest, I say. It's not what you know, it's who you know. Here are my honourable mentions. A little crown there. These are stories that are sweet, but just didn't quite make the job. A former police officer who stole £2.50 to pay off a sweet shop debt has been told he would have been sacked had he not quit. The gist of the story is, when searching a car, this police officer pocketed a couple of quid, which is obviously actual theft, and this was picked up on body cam footage. The former officer in question said he used £2 to pay off the debt, and the 50p to buy his children some chocolate. But after the incident, the police officer then resigned in disgrace. Look, to me, £2.50 is an irrelevant amount of money, but they're police, aren't they? So it's quite right that he would have been binned. Moral of the story is, don't steal on camera. Do financial theft instead. If you're a bank, you get bailed out by the government if you fail anyway. And my second and final honourable mention is that a guy found out he may have been paying for the wrong electricity meter for 18 years. The gist is, a bloke in California who's dead careful with his usage recently got quite a hefty bill. He then asked his utility company to check it out, and it turns out that his bills have been linked to next door's electricity meter. He's been there since 2006 and no one has noticed. The article even says that the meter still won't be correctly linked until the next billing cycle. And in the article, it doesn't sound like the guy is getting a refund. So if you too don't want to pay full price for your utilities, get a neighbour to pay for it instead. Mine already does pay for my electricity. Big hole and a thick cable. Can't get cheaper than free, can you? Thanks for watching. Please like, comment and subscribe if you do so fancy. Also, if you think there's any news that we might have missed, get in contact. There's an email down there in the description. Check it out. Send me some stuff. Not nudes though, my wife might get annoyed. Please also check out our news sources down there in the description, because what else are you going to do with your life? You're going to talk to your kids? Talk to your friends? Talk to your dog? Nah, this is better. See you next time for another jam-packed news you might have missed. Wow! Stay gravy.